Okay, think about this for a second. Imagine a time you felt really supported, like truly seen, or maybe just perfectly in sync with a group. You know that feeling? It's more than just feeling happy for a moment. It's actually like fundamental, a basic human need, and it has these huge implications for your whole well-being. We often chase health goals on our own, don't we? Diet, exercise. But what if the biggest boost, the real power-up for your health, your resilience, even your sense of self, comes from finding your community, finding your tribe?
Yeah, it's a really powerful question. And it cuts right to the heart of what we know about being human, doesn't it? So today, yeah, we're doing a deep dive. We're looking into the kind of surprising science, but also the practical side of how belonging shapes us, our health, our happiness, our ability to just thrive. We'll explore why connection isn't just, nice to have. It's essential. It affects everything, from brain chemicals to how we bounce back when things get tough.
And it's not just a feeling, right? There's solid research here. The facts are actually pretty startling. People with strong social networks, they literally live longer, healthier lives, less illness. They even recover faster.
That's right. The data is compelling. Social support acts as a buffer. It demonstrably reduces the hits we take from stress, both psychologically and physiologically. It can even give your immune system a boost. We're talking real, measurable health benefits.
Measurable benefits. Okay. So let's start at the core. This need to belong.
Well, fundamentally, humans are hardwired to connect. We evolved in groups, right? Relying on each other was key to survival. What's kind of fascinating, maybe a bit worrying, is that even though we're hyper-connected online...
Right, more connections than ever, supposedly.
Exactly. But loneliness is actually a growing public health problem. It suggests maybe we have more connections, but less depth, less real belonging.
That's a really important distinction. Depth over breadth, maybe.
Right.
So if we are wired for this deep connection, what does a strong community actually give us? What are the core benefits?
Okay, so when you have that strong community fabric, you get that sense of belonging, obviously, but also genuine connection and, really importantly, mutual support. You know someone has your back and you have theirs. And this makes you significantly less likely to experience symptoms of depression, anxiety, stress. It's like a psychological safety net.
A built-in buffer.
Precisely. And what's really interesting is that it's not just about big dramatic support moments. Even the small everyday things add up. That quick chat with a colleague, by the coffee machine, small talk with a neighbor, even just a shared smile.
So those little moments actually matter.
They absolutely do. They remind you you're not alone. There are these little hits of connection that are vital for long-term mental health. They accumulate.
Accumulate over time. Okay, so not just grand gestures, daily micro-interactions. Let's dig into the science a bit more then. You mentioned brain chemicals earlier. That warm, fuzzy feeling has a biological basis.
It absolutely does. When we connect meaningfully, our brain releases oxytocin. People call it the bonding hormone or cuddle chemical. It calms the nervous system, reduces fear, builds trust, makes us feel safe, connected.
Okay, oxytocin. What else?
And then during positive interactions, especially things like laughing together, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, key mood regulators. Dopamine gives you that reward, pleasure feeling. Serotonin helps stabilize your mood, promotes well-being.
So it literally makes us feel good and helps keep us stable.
Exactly. And these aren't just fleeting highs. They contribute to long-term emotional stability, building resilience against stress.
Fascinating. The brain chemistry is one thing, but you also mentioned physical health impacts. How does that connection work? How does isolation or connection physically change us?
Right. Well, the flip side, chronic isolation or loneliness, actually triggers the body's stress response system. You get more cortisol, more adrenaline pumping through your system more often.
Fight or flight stuff.
Exactly. And over time, that leads to chronic inflammation throughout the body. And we know inflammation is linked to a whole range of problems: high blood pressure, cardiovascular issues, even metabolic stuff like insulin resistance.
Wow. So loneliness can literally make you sick over time.
It increases the risk, yes. But conversely, having that supportive network does the opposite. It buffers stress, and it also encourages positive behaviors. Think about it. Are you more likely to go for a walk or try a new healthy recipe alone, or if a friend suggests doing it together?
Definitely more likely with a friend, accountability, and it's just more fun.
Precisely. Like joining a local park run because your friends are doing it.
Right.
Or cooking healthy meals to share. It makes healthy habits stick. Plus, if you do get sick or injured, that support network provides practical help, emotional comfort, which actually helps you recover faster.
Okay, this is making so much sense. And I read somewhere some really striking research comparing social connection to other major health factors.
Yes. This is where it gets really profound. Some studies suggest that strong social relationships are as important for your longevity, how long you live, as things like quitting smoking or managing obesity or physical inactivity.
Wait, as important as quitting smoking?
That's what the research indicates. The magnitude of the effect is significant. It's not just, nagging from friends to eat your vegetables. It's this constant, subtle reinforcement. Shared activities, shared purpose. It makes healthy choices feel less like effort and more like just what you do together.
That's incredible. It reframes health entirely, doesn't it? Less individual struggle, more communal support. Okay, so we've established why belonging is so critical biologically, chemically, physically, but let's define community. It can feel a bit vague. What actually is it?
Yeah, it's not just a fuzzy feeling, though it involves feelings. Researchers grapple with definitions, but a common understanding focuses on two main types. Communities linked by geography like your neighborhood, your town, or communities linked by common interests or identity. Think your workplace, a hobby group, maybe groups based on shared experiences like parents groups or support groups, shared space or shared identity.
Shared space or shared identity. And what makes a community strong? Are there key ingredients?
Good question. Researchers often talk about four key components. First, membership. That feeling that you really belong, you're part of it. Second, influence. Feeling like you matter to the group, you have a say. Third, integration and fulfillment of needs. The community actually helps meet your needs, practically or emotionally. And fourth, shared emotional connection. That bond based on shared history, experiences, or interests.
Membership, influence, meeting needs, and emotional connection.
Got it. And you mentioned positive psychology is starting to look beyond the individual now. Yes, historically it was very focused on individual happiness and strengths. But there's a growing recognition that you can't fully understand well-being without considering the context, the community. So now there's more focus on community-level interventions, ways to boost well-being and functioning for entire groups, not just isolated individuals.
That makes perfect sense. So let's get practical. How can people listening cultivate this sense of belonging in their own lives, in their groups? What actually works?
Okay, one really powerful method, and maybe slightly counterintuitive, is simply normalizing the fact that feeling like you don't belong sometimes is, well, normal.
Just acknowledging it.
Exactly. Studies show that assuring people, especially when they're entering a new environment, new job, new school, new town, that worrying about fitting in is common and usually temporary can make a huge difference to their outcomes.
How so? Can you give an example?
Sure. There were interventions with Black students at universities. By emphasizing that struggling to belong initially was a common experience for many students, not just them, and that it gets better. They saw improved GPAs, greater confidence. Students even took on harder courses.
Wow, just by reframing the feeling.
Yeah. And a similar thing with women in male-dominated fields like engineering. Highlighting shared challenges and helping them build a broader sense of self beyond just their gender in that context actually eliminated the gender gap in GPAs in some studies. It's about validating the feeling, making it less isolating, which paradoxically helps people connect.
That's fascinating. Okay, so normalizing concerns is one thing. What about actively building bonds, especially somewhere like work?
Right. Another key area is consciously fostering bonds through proximity and interaction. Think about how you structure teams. Can you bring different groups together for specific projects? Even office design, does it encourage bumping into people, informal chats?
The water cooler effect.
Kind of, yeah. And for remote teams, it's even more important to be intentional. Virtual coffees, team-building activities, finding creative ways to connect people who aren't physically together.
Are there tools or examples you've seen that do this well?
Yeah, some companies use tools like that Slack bot called Donut. It randomly pairs people up for a virtual coffee chat. Simple, but it sparks connections across departments that might never happen otherwise.
Like engineered serendipity.
Exactly. Or on a bigger scale, look at Airbnb's big One Airbnb conference. They bring everyone together globally. Strategy, vision, sure, but also things like an airfare, where departments showcase their work. It builds huge connection.
Okay, so structured interaction. What about trust? Mentor relationships, managers.
Absolutely crucial. Trusting relationships are key for learning, for getting useful feedback. And these relationships can be even more beneficial for people from underrepresented or historically stigmatized groups who might face extra barriers. So formal or informal mentoring programs can be really powerful. They provide guidance, support, a safe space.
Makes sense. Leveling the playing field a bit through connection. And what about making sure everyone actually gets heard within a group? How do you ensure active inclusion?
Yeah, that's vital. It's more than just inviting people to the meeting. It means actively seeking input before the meeting, maybe with a shared document,
Nah.
or using techniques in the meeting itself, like having everyone jot down ideas on Post-it notes first so all voices get out there, not just the loudest, and being transparent about decisions, avoiding those backroom chats that make people feel excluded.
Transparency builds trust. I like the post-it note idea too. And related to openness, you mentioned storytelling earlier. How does that play a role?
Oh, storytelling is incredibly powerful for belonging. Hearing honest personal stories about hobbies, challenges, interests, even hardships from people at all levels, it breaks down barriers. It reminds us we're all human. We share similar struggles and joys.
So how do organizations encourage that?
They can do things like How Might We sessions, focused on values, where people share stories, embodying those values. Leaders can make a point of retelling employee stories to highlight certain themes or successes. Some places even train leaders specifically in storytelling because they recognize its power to connect people and build that shared sense of purpose.
Sharing stories builds empathy and connection. Okay. We've talked a lot about connection within groups, workplaces, but let's zoom out. How does this community idea connect to broader societal resilience, like dealing with crises?
That's where we talk about social capital. It's the value we get from our social networks. Think of it like collective wealth, access to information, support, resources, all flowing through those connections. These networks are valuable daily, but they become absolutely critical during stress or emergencies.
Because people help each other out.
Exactly. Well-connected communities are just fundamentally more resilient when a crisis hits. They can organize faster, share resources, support each other.
How do official bodies like emergency services tap into that?
Well, smart community resilience strategies focus on three things: building capacity knowledge, skills, resources within the community itself, increasing connectedness, strengthening those relationships, building new ones, and fostering cooperation, getting diverse groups working together. You see this with emergency management offices supporting things like neighborhood support groups, encouraging street BBQs, using social media to connect neighbors. They know resilient communities help themselves.
So it's about empowering the community itself.
Right. And this kind of community engagement has benefits beyond crises too. It helps organizations, even businesses or government agencies, make better decisions because they get more diverse input. It builds trust, helps them earn that social license to operate the community's acceptance.
So engaging with the community isn't just nice, it's strategically smart for organizations too.
Definitely. It helps manage conflict better, identify issues earlier. Think about governments using software to manage expert networks for policy advice, or community input shaping big projects like wind farms, making them more sustainable and accepted. Even things like libraries becoming community hubs, hosting farmers markets, gardens. It all weaves that web of connection.
It really is a web, isn't it? Interconnected at so many levels. Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening?
I think the core message is that finding your tribe, cultivating belonging, isn't just a self-help trend. It's fundamental to your health, mental and physical, your happiness, and your ability to cope with whatever life throws at you.
Yeah, whether it's that quick chat with a neighbor, a deep mentoring relationship, or working together on a community project, connection nourishes us in ways that, honestly, diet and exercise alone just can't replicate.
Absolutely. The benefits are personal, down to your brain chemistry, but they're also communal. Strong connections build strong, resilient groups. It's about being intentional, seeking out, nurturing, participating in relationships that offer support, understanding, that sense of shared purpose.
Remembering you're not meant to do it all alone. Your well-being is tied up with the well-being of your community.
So maybe the provocative thought to leave people with is this. In a world that pushes individual achievement so hard, how might actively investing time and energy into your community, whatever that looks like for you, be the single most impactful thing you do for your own well-being this year?
What's one small step you could take today? Maybe reach out to someone. Strengthen one bond. Just show up for your tribe, knowing that the return on that investment is potentially huge and deeply human.